We are back to discuss the importance of creating healthy habits in the restroom. A recent survey found that nearly half of Americans say their daily lives are affected by digestive issues.
Despite those issues, many people just are not comfortable talking about those symptoms. In fact, about a third say they'd only talk about it if their doctor brought it up first. Dr. Trisha Pasricha joins us now with more on this. She's a gastroenterologist at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center.
She wrote a new book. It's all about this topic. It's got quite the title. It's called You've Been Pooping All Wrong: How to Make Your Bowel Movements a Joy. Dr. Pasricha, thank you so much for being here. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Definitely the first time we've said poop and said it multiple times on our show because this is a taboo topic.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're not on national TV, it's not something we're talking about a lot. Why are we so uncomfortable talking about it?
I think for so long we have stigmatized our gut health and we've treated our bowels like something we should be ashamed of, embarrassed of. And in fact, 1 in 3 people will avoid seeing their doctor because of their bowel symptoms because they're so embarrassed. And one thing I wanted to do with this book is to destigmatize. This is just a normal part of our bodies. We should not be ashamed of our own bodies, and we should call it by name. Calling it by name is, I think, the first step towards that.
Speaking of names, you describe something in the book, the concept of poophoria, which I'm guessing is on par with euphoria. What does it mean?
Indeed, yes. Poophoria is a state that I want everyone to achieve. And like you said, 40% of Americans say that their daily lives are disrupted by their bowel habits. That means most of us are not living in this state. But poophoria is not just about being regular. It is really a state in which having a bowel movement, thinking about pooping, is the absolute least of your daily concerns. And you're just out there living your best life, never worrying about this thing in the background.
So how do we get there?
Well, great question. One of the things that I feel that people don't understand is even a simple framework for how to think about having a bowel movement, because we just don't talk about these things. We don't get taught them. And I usually tell my patients, okay, think about having a bowel movement like trying to squeeze toothpaste out of a toothpaste tube, okay? So this is where my framework comes in. It's the 3 Ps. So the first P is propulsion. So think about squeezing that toothpaste tube. That can be done either with the contractions of your colon or because you're bearing down. The second P is pliability. That's how soft the toothpaste is. But the third P is the pelvic floor. And I think that's the most underappreciated, underrecognized P that we need to think about. And you really need all of these pieces to come together and work with each other at the same time. And when you think about that, you're on your path towards achieving poophoria.
When people are afraid to talk about something or there's a stigma, that can open the door to misinformation. And you say there are a lot of myths out there. Do you want to walk us through some of those? What's true? What's not true?
Yeah, one of the most common ones that I hear is that you have to poop once a day in order to be godlike and achieve happiness. That's not true. You can poop, and especially in America, they've done these surveys, anywhere from once every 3 days to up to 3 times per day. And for me, it's really about what feels comfortable for you and what is the least disruptive to your social life. But there's a huge range there. One of the other myths that I hear really commonly is that you can become dependent on laxatives. People really have this fear of taking a laxative. And, you know, there's actually never been any study that has shown that you are damaging your nerves in your colon or that there's a chemical dependency. And this kind of comes back to that stigma piece that we shouldn't be embarrassed to take a laxative if we need it. We're not embarrassed to take insulin. We're not embarrassed to take our blood pressure meds. Shouldn't be embarrassed to need something for constipation. And then one of the other things that I hear often is that people think that there are pounds and pounds of poop just lining and caking the insides of our stomach. And sometimes you just need to cleanse all of that out. This is not true. Okay. Your gut is very slippery. It has a thick layer of mucus. Poop is constantly moving through it, but it is not caking the lining. So all of these ideas about detoxing and cleansing, you're actually not doing anything for yourself. Your liver is doing a great job of detoxifying everything for you.
I've heard the gut referred to as the second brain. I've actually heard it a lot more recently, and that's all over social media. What do you make of that comparison? But also, what is the connection between the gut and the brain?
Yeah. You know, I think about the gut as a brain, and that's because the gut contains millions of nerve cells. And so it's more than just plumbing, right? It is a brain that is independently producing neurotransmitters. It is sending signals back up to the brain in our heads. We have known for more than a century that even just our thoughts can enact changes in our gut, right? Like right now, if I were to think about my favorite dessert, which is a gooey chocolate cake, and I were to start to think about that, my pancreas is going to start to secrete insulin. I might start to feel gurgles. I'm going to start salivating. There's almost no other organ that just our thoughts can change what that organ is doing.
Yeah.
And we know we live with this all the time in our day-to-day lives. Stress causes butterflies in our stomachs. It causes nausea. But what's really exciting is the last couple of decades, we're starting to realize how much that communication between the gut and the brain is really from the gut upwards. And so now we're learning that stress, anxiety actually can be caused by the gut, that diseases like Parkinson's disease and dementia may start in the gut.
Wow, that is fascinating. All right, doctor, you know what? Thanks for getting us out of our comfort zone. Thanks for the potential memes to be made of whatever was on screen with us. But a really important conversation.
Thank you for having me.
And the book is out now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.